All right, let's learn how to play Cherub Rock by the Smashing Pumpkins. Bear with me as this is the first official tutorial I've done for the piano. This is designed for people who don't know how to read sheet music. We're going to go to the bass side of the piano and we're going to play an E octave. We're going to play this E once with our thumb and this E twice with our pinky. And we're going to do that twice. Then we're going to do it a third time, but when we play the pinky, we're only going to do it once, and we're going to pause for a double beat. Then we're going to reverse it, and we're going to do the pinky twice, the thumb once, the pinky 3 times, and then the thumb once. So all together, here it is. We're going to play that with the right hand at first. We're going to switch to the left hand later in the song. To start out, we're going to play that progression 2 times in a row. After we do that, the next step is to bring in the left hand. We're very low on the piano and we're going to go to E. And we're just going to press E and keep the beat. This is what it sounds like. So we're going to do that twice. Now again, we're going to play the same sequence with our right hand, but this time we're going to add even more with our left hand. So we're going to do the pinky once for an 8th note. Then we're going to do the pinky twice for a 16th note. Then we're going to do the full octave, the thumb and the pinky on E for an 8th note. Then we're going to go back to the pinky once for a 16th note. Immediately to the pinky and the thumb together, the octave again for the 16th note. Like this. After the pause for the 8th note, we're going to go back to the pinky again for 3 16th notes. Then once again to an octave for an 8th note, and the pinky once more for an 8th note. We're going to be playing that while we do the same progression with our right hand. Your thumbs are both going to be playing this same E, but you won't be playing it at the same time. Again, you're going to play that progression 2 times. Next, we're going to take what we just did with the left hand and we're going to do almost exactly the same thing again, except that we're going to start out with an octave. And then we're going to play everything else in the rest of the progression the same. Then the right hand is going to jump up to G sharp and again play almost exactly the same thing it played in the previous section, except it's going to pause on the very first note and then it'll play the rest of the notes the same. So the left hand and the right hand play the same exact thing. The right hand is in a different key, on a different key than the left hand, except for the first note. That's the only note that's different. You're only going to play that once. And then the next sequence, the left hand is going to play almost the exact same thing, except for the last 2 notes will be different. Instead of playing an octave for an 8th note, and then the pinky for an 8th note, you're going to play an octave again, but you're going to move down 1 key to D, and you're going to play that twice for 2 eighth notes. The right hand is, you're going to play the exact same thing it did in the previous sequence, except it's going to move up once more to B. The first note will be paused again, just like in the previous sequence. So together, it sounds like this. All right, so the next step is we're getting into the melody. So the next progression is going to be all octaves for the right hand. We're going to start with F sharp. It's going to be a 16th note. Then we're going to go down to the E octave. That's going to be an 8.5 note, which is for 3 16th notes. Then we're going to move up to G sharp for another 16th note. Up a half step to an A for an 8th note. Right back down to G sharp again. And you're going to hold that for a whole note plus a 16th note. Then you're going to end the chord with the same thing you started with. It's going to be an F sharp for a 16th note, and then an E for an 8.5 note. So the whole thing sounds like this. Meanwhile, with the left hand, you're going to play the same exact thing you did in the previous chord, except instead of ending with those 2 Ds you ended with on the 8th notes, you're going to end with 1 E 8th note and then only the pinky for 2 16th notes. You're going to play that twice. The next chord, we're going to get a little more complicated here. We're going to start with the F sharp chord again, except we're going to throw in an A and a D with our pointer finger and our ring finger, like this. We're going to play that and hold it. We're going to play it twice. And then we're going to move down to the E octave. And then again with our pointer finger and our ring finger, we're going to play an A and a C sharp. We're going to hold that. And then we're going to play an E octave for 2 16th notes and 1 8th note. So all together, it's going to sound like this. With the left hand, we're going to be keeping the same beat as we have in the past few chords, except we're going to be moving the notes around a little bit more again. So this time we're going to go to a D chord. And in the middle of the chord, we're going to move down to an A. So it's going to be like this. And then ending with those 2 chords. All together. You're going to play that once. Then we're going to go play the exact same thing we just played in the previous chord. Twice, except on the second time we play it, it's going to end very slightly differently. So it's going to be like this again. And then we're going to end, instead of doing the F sharp and the E again, we're going to end on an F sharp with a D with our middle finger. And then instead of ending on the 2 pinkies with our left hand, we're going to do 2 chords. So I'll play it again with the ending. In the next chord, we're going to go immediately from the F sharp up to a G sharp. We're just going to shift our pinkies and our thumb up 1. And we're also going to shift our middle finger. How we had that D in the previous chord, we're going to shift that up to an E right here. So we're playing the G sharp chord with an E in our middle finger. We're going to play that chord for a whole note, hold it, then we're going to play it again quickly, and then we're going to shift up a half step to an A. Then we're going to shift immediately back down to that G sharp and the E again. We're going to hold that, and then we're going to shift back down once more to that F sharp and the D again from the previous chord. Altogether, it's going to sound like this. In the left hand, we're going to play the exact same thing we did in the previous chord. We're going to play that again, but the ending for the next chord is going to be just very slightly differently. It's going to end with 2 E's, then up with an F sharp on the right hand. And the left hand, we're going to be doing the 2 E chords. Now we're going to get just a little bit more complicated. So we ended that previous chord with the F sharp octave. For the next chord, we're going to actually hold that down. We're going to throw in an A and a D with our pointer finger and our ring finger, like we played earlier. Then we're going to shift down to an E. Then we're going to throw in an A and a D for a quick chord. Then we're going to shift up to an F sharp again chord, and then we're going to shift down to an E with an A and a C sharp again. After that, we're going to shift all the way down to C sharp with an A. And to end the chord, we're going to end with a B octave with a G sharp with our ring finger. So the whole chord is going to sound like this. Remember, we're holding the F sharp from the previous chord to start. And then we're going to throw in that A and the D. The left hand is going to be keeping the same beat. It's going to start with D, and then it's going to transition down to A like this. All together. Next, we're going to do an E and a G sharp. Then we're going to go up to a G sharp octave with an E with our middle finger, up to an A, back down to the same G sharp octave with the E, down to the F sharp with the D. Left hand is going to be keeping the same beat, keeping E the whole time. Next chord is going to start out the same, except we're going to start with the G sharp octave and the E with our middle finger. It's going to end slightly differently with a B and a G sharp down to an E octave up to an F octave, F sharp octave. Now we're going to be holding that F sharp, and the next 3 chords are going to be almost exactly the same as we just previously played, except the ending of the 3rd chord is going to be just slightly different. So I'm just going to repeat everything I just showed you. So when we get to the end of the 3rd chord, it's going to be slightly different. We're going to shift up our hand again. Now we're in the treble clef. And we're going to do an E octave with a G sharp and a B. Then we're going to go just an E octave and then up to an F sharp. And we're going to be doing an E octave in the left hand twice. We're going to hold that F sharp, and then we're going to do an A and a D with our ring finger and our pointing finger. Then we're going to go back down to an E. Then we're going to bring in the A and the D up to the F sharp, back down to the E, bringing in the A and the C sharp. Then we're going to end with an A and a C sharp. Left hand's going to be keeping the same beat again, starting with the D octave, moving down to the A octave. Left hand ends moving from A up to B. Now things are going to get a little more different again. We're going to move up to C, keeping the same beat with our left hand. We're going to have the C octave in our right hand, adding in a E and a G. They're going to move down to a B octave with a D and a G. Then we're going to drop the bottom of the B octave and just do the B, D, and G. So it'll be like this with the right hand. Left hand keeping the same beat, moving from C down to G, then ending, moving from the B octave up to a C octave. Now the right hand is going to go to the F sharp octave, adding an A and a D. Then it's going to go down to an E octave. Then it's going to play an E octave again, adding in an A and a C sharp. Then it's going to drop the bottom of the E octave and just play the E, the A, and the C sharp. Left hand keeping the same beat is going to start at D. It's going to move down to A, and then it's going to end with that same movement from B up to C octave. Now we're going down to an E octave with the right hand, adding in a G and a C, keeping the same beat with the left hand, starting with a C octave, moving down to a G octave, and again ending with that B and the C. The right hand is going to move from the E octave down to a D octave, just slightly shifting the middle fingers with a G and a B, and then dropping the D at the bottom of the octave for the last note. Altogether, it's like this. Next chord, we go back up to an F sharp octave. We're going to drop immediately down, kind of tricky, from the F sharp to an E, but we're going to hold the A and the D. So it's going to be like this. Next chord, we're just barely going to shift from the E octave. We're going to drop the D and we're going to shift to the C sharp. Then we're going to drop both the A and the C sharp for an E octave, and then we're going to add them back in. The left hand is going to do a D octave, move from the D octave down to the A octave, again ending with the B and the C. Next, we're going to play an E, a G, and a C in the right hand. Then we're going to add in an E for the full octave. Then we're going to shift down to a D octave with a G and a B. Then we're going to drop the bottom of the D octave. The left hand is going to move from C to G back to the B, C. We're going to do an F sharp octave in the right hand. Then we're going to move up to an A octave with the D and the E, and then we're going to drop the D to the C sharp, and then we're going to drop both of the middle fingers and go just an A octave to a B octave. Left hand was moving from D to A, and this time ending with an A, B instead of a B, C. Next, we have a C octave with an E and a G. And the right hand repeating the C, E, G 2 times. The left hand moving from C and then switching to D in the last 3 notes. That's basically the gist of the first part. After that, you're going to play basically everything I just taught you with the F sharp, the E, then it's going to continue. The notes are just going to change kind of slightly. It's going to get higher pitched in the right hand. I can do another section if people are interested, but here is everything I just taught you all together. I'll play it slow.